All right, diving deep today. We're looking at Tovanot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, got some excerpts here, mission statements and program outlines.
Okay.
And let me tell you, they are taking on a huge EE challenge.
Yeah.
It's this link between socioeconomic background and educational success in Israel.
That's a big one.
It is. So can schools really level the playing field like that?
It's a question with no easy answers, that's for sure. But what I find fascinating about Tovanot is, well, they're not just idealists, right?
Right.
This organization was founded by people from industry and tech and philanthropy back in 2011.
Oh, wow.
So they bring this really interesting mix of pragmatism and passion to this really complex problem.
You need both, I think,
Yeah.
to make a dent in these kinds of systemic issues. So pragmatism and passion. So, okay, let's get specific.
Big
What
one.
kinds of schools are they working with?
They're focusing on schools in the geographic and social periphery of Israel. So think areas that are facing significant disadvantages. So you've got low academic achievements, challenging classroom environments, sometimes even a lack of strong leadership within the school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not quick fixes, really ingrained problems.
Okay, so we're talking deeply ingrained problems, which makes their three-pronged approach even more interesting. They're working on cultivating strong leadership, enhancing teaching quality, and building school resilience.
Right.
It's like they're saying all three of those things are crucial for real change.
Yeah. And they're not just throwing money at it, or generic programs at the problem. Each one has very specific expected outcomes.
Okay.
So like cultivating strong leadership, it isn't just about professional development for principals, right?
Okay.
It's helping them create a vision for the school, manage change effectively, and advocate for their students.
So giving them the tools and the support to really lead,
Exactly.
not just manage. Okay, so what about enhancing teaching quality? What makes their approach stand out there?
They're focused on moving beyond traditional lecture-based teaching.
Right.
So Tovanot helps teachers develop skills in areas like differentiated instruction,
Oh, interesting.
project-based learning, using technology effectively in the classroom.
Yeah.
It's about making learning more engaging, personalized, and relevant, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
If you're a student who's struggling or disengaged, sitting through another dry lecture, I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to spark anything. So, okay, what about building school resilience?
Mhm.
What's the thinking there?
Remember, these schools are facing multiple challenges, right?
Right.
You've got poverty, you've got social unrest, even just lack of resources.
Yep.
So building resilience is about creating the supportive and positive school climate where students feel safe, connected, and empowered.
Okay.
It's giving them the emotional and social skills to overcome adversity both in school and in life.
I'm starting to see how these prongs kind of work together.
Yeah.
So strong leadership is sort of the environment for the teaching, and then a resilient school culture helps students thrive amidst all these challenges.
Yeah, they all work together.
But how do they make this happen? How do they actually implement all this?
So they have this unique three-channel model.
Okay.
And this is where things get really interesting.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Think of it like this. They're working on the administrative culture, the educational culture and pedagogy, and the organizational culture and well-being of each school.
At the same time.
All at the same time, yeah.
Okay, break that down for me a little bit. So what does what is administrative culture? What does that involve?
So think behind the scenes, right? The stuff most people don't see.
Right.
Tovanot helps schools streamline all these processes, improve communication, and implement data-driven decision-making.
Oh, that's interesting.
So a well-run school, from a purely logistical standpoint, frees up so much time and energy for everyone to actually focus on teaching and learning.
Makes sense. If the administration is a mess, it impacts everything.
Absolutely.
So you got that channel, then the educational culture and pedagogy. And we touched on that a bit with the teaching quality. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, so remember, collaboration is huge for them.
Okay.
So it's not just individual teachers improving. It's about creating this culture where teachers learn from each other, share best practices, and work together.
I see.
They even bring in external experts to run professional development workshops and provide ongoing support.
So they're really building a network
It's a whole network.
around these schools. It's not just, here's some money, good luck.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, what about organizational culture and well-being? That sounds pretty broad.
It is broad, and it's really where you see them going beyond these traditional academic metrics. So they're working with schools to create positive and inclusive learning environments implement programs that support students' social and emotional development and foster a sense of community between students, teachers, and families. So it's the whole community.
So they're recognizing that a child can't learn if they're dealing with all this other stuff.
Exactly. It's all connected.
It is all connected.
And one more key point, I think. They emphasize full partnership with the schools.
Oh, that's great.
They don't come in with this top-down approach.
Right.
They work collaboratively with school leaders, teachers, and even students.
Wow.
To identify needs, co-create solutions.
So the buy-in is there from the beginning.
Exactly. They're ensuring that the changes are sustainable over the long term.
Now that is refreshing because so many times these programs, feel like they're being imposed, and then as soon as the funding dries up, it fizzles out. Yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds much more deeply rooted.
They take that seriously, and to add to that, they incorporate all these external partnerships.
Oh, interesting.
Bringing in folks from tech companies, nonprofits, even military units.
Okay, wait. Military units. That seems a little out there for education.
It is, but it's about tapping into diverse skill sets and networks, Some units have experience in leadership development, team building, or even logistical organization.
Right.
Plus, it exposes students to different career paths and role models, which is really important in disadvantaged communities where opportunities may feel limited.
Makes sense. It's like they're building a bridge between the school and the wider community.
Exactly.
It's not just what happens within the school walls.
Right.
It's connecting these students to all these possibilities.
And that brings us to another interesting aspect, technology and AI.
Ah, yes.
They're exploring how these tools can enhance teaching, personalize learning, provide individual support to students.
Now, AI in education is a hot topic.
Very hot topic.
Lots of potential, but lots of concerns.
Yeah,
They address those.
They do. They're not naive about the potential pitfalls. They're focused on using AI responsibly and ethically. So using it to identify students who are at risk of falling behind, provide targeted interventions. It's about using technology to level the playing field, not exacerbate inequalities.
AI is a support system, not a replacement.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
So with all these channels and initiatives, what are their specific areas of focus within the school?
It can be broadly categorized into two areas, supporting pedagogical processes and bolstering school climate and organizational resilience.
So the first one is about the how of teaching, the methods and strategies.
Right.
What makes their approach to pedagogy stand out?
Well, they're really pushing schools to move beyond rote memorization and standardized testing.
Right.
It's about promoting active learning, critical thinking, problem-solving skills. They want students to apply what they learn to real-world situations.
So it's not just about knowing the facts, it's about using them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. What about bolstering school climate and organizational resilience? What did that look like in practice?
So think about creating a school environment where students feel safe, supported, and connected. So they're implementing programs to address bullying, promote social-emotional learning, build strong relationships between students and teachers, creating a sense of belonging.
Sounds like a holistic support system.
It is. Addressing their academic needs, their social, emotional, even psychological well-being.
That's pretty impressive.
And it's not a one and done. They're committed to continuous evaluation and improvement.
Oh, it's key.
They're constantly collecting data, analyzing results, refining their approach to make sure it's having a real impact.
That is so important because so much of educational reform falls apart.
Right.
Because nobody checks if it's working.
They're avoiding that trap.
Avoiding the trap. That's good. So speaking of avoiding traps, here's something else that sets them apart. They view schools as community hubs.
Yes.
Not just isolated institutions. So they actively seek out partnerships and volunteers to bring diverse perspectives and resources into the schools.
And they have a really wide range.
Wait, volunteers? Like people coming in to help. What kind of volunteers are we talking about?
We're talking tech companies offering mentorship programs, nonprofits running after-school enrichment activities, even military units coming in to help with leadership training.
Wow.
Yeah, community service projects, a whole range.
That speaks to their belief in collaboration for sure.
Oh, for sure.
They're really tapping into all the resources out there. And I bet the students get a lot out of that.
Absolutely. It exposes them to different career paths, role models, ways of thinking, breaks down those barriers between the school and the outside world.
So it's not just academic improvement. It's about broadening horizons.
Exactly.
It's about giving them a sense of opportunity.
Absolutely.
So how many schools are they working with? What's the scope?
In the 2024-2025 school year, they were actively working with 40 schools across Israel's social periphery, and that includes elementary, middle, and high schools.
That is a significant reach.
It is.
And think about the different needs of those age groups.
Oh, completely different.
Elementary school is a different world than high school.
Absolutely. That's what makes their commitment to working across the entire educational spectrum so impressive. Each stage requires a different approach.
So they're walking this tightrope of consistency, but also flexibility, responsiveness.
They are.
I'm impressed.
It's a fascinating organization for sure. And, thinking about those different settings, what do you think, dear listener, are the biggest challenges and rewards of this kind of work?
It's a great question. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, let's explore that a bit more.
Take a minute to think about it.
It is a fascinating question. You've got this potential to make a real difference in the lives of so many students, but the challenges are very real.
Oh, for sure. Just the logistics alone. 40 different schools, each with its own leadership, staff dynamics, community context. That's a lot to manage.
And the funding. Securing and managing resources, especially in under-resourced communities.
Yeah, it's a constant battle, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It requires some serious strategic planning, strong partnerships, constant fundraising, and then you've got the kids themselves.
Right. Coming from all these different backgrounds, facing all sorts of challenges. You mentioned poverty, but also trauma, language barriers. That's a lot for teachers to handle on top of their regular duties.
Yeah, and the emotional toll on the educators is huge.
Right. It can't be ignored.
They're the ones on the front lines dealing with the consequences of inequality every day. Tovanot Bekinik really has to provide support systems, not just for the kids, but for the adults too.
It's a whole ecosystem they're supporting, and that's before we even bring in the changes in educational policy, the pressure of standardized testing.
Right. It's a lot. But the rewards must be incredible.
I would imagine so.
Imagine seeing that transformation firsthand. A school community where the students are excited about learning, developing confidence, seeing them discover their potential. That's got to be amazing.
It's giving them a chance they wouldn't have otherwise had. A chance to kind of break free from the limitations and create a better future.
It's about empowering not just individuals, but communities.
Whole community.
When you improve education, it impacts families, neighborhoods. It's societal change.
So we've covered a lot. The problem, the approach, the challenges, the rewards. I'm blown away by their commitment, I got to say.
They're not just tinkering around the edges. This is systemic change.
Yeah, they're going for it.
They're tackling the root causes of inequality, and they're doing it with this really impressive combination of pragmatism, innovation, and this deep belief in collaboration.
And they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're right there in the schools, working with everybody.
It's with hands-on, grassroots.
Yeah, it's about real people.
And that's where their focus on data comes in.
Oh, right. You mentioned that earlier.
They're constantly measuring, evaluating, adjusting. They're not afraid to admit when something's not working.
Which is so important.
It is. Too many organizations get stuck. Tovanot Bekinik seems to have a culture of continuous learning.
Which is essential in a field like education. Things are constantly changing.
Right. And it's not just about internal evaluation. They're actively seeking feedback from the schools, teachers, students, everyone.
Again, with a collaboration.
They recognize that the people closest to the challenges have the best insights.
It's an empowering approach, for sure.
And it seems to be working. They still face huge challenges, but they've made incredible progress.
In a short time. Relatively.
They've helped schools improve academic outcomes, create better learning environments, expand opportunities. It's pretty remarkable.
It really shows that positive change is possible, even with these entrenched problems. It takes vision, dedication, rolling up your sleeves. But it's possible.
And that brings us to a final thought for you, dear listener.
Okay, hit us.
Imagine you could design one program for Tovanot Bekinik.
Oh, one program.
Okay. What would it be and why?
That's a good one. Challenges you to think big picture and strategically.
There's no right or wrong answer, of course.
Right. But we're interested in hearing your perspective.
Your unique perspective. Let that question simmer for a bit as we wrap up this deep dive into Tovanot Bekinik.
We've explored their mission, their approach, the challenges, the triumphs.
But the story doesn't end there.
Right. The work continues. If this deep dive has sparked your interest, we encourage you to explore further.
There are so many resources online.
And you can connect with Tovanot Bekinik directly.
Learn more, get involved.
But for now, let's reflect.
What resonated? What questions do you still have?
And most importantly, what actions, however small, can you take?
to make a difference in your own community?
Because every single one of us has the power to be an agent of change.
Mentorship, volunteering, advocating for quality education.
We can all contribute to a brighter future for the next generation.
And who knows, maybe one of you listening will be inspired to develop that game-changing program for Tovanot Bekkenuk.
Or launch your own initiative.
The possibilities are endless.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like all the possibilities.
It does. You know, I was just thinking about that question. What if there was a program that connects these students with mentors from different fields?
Oh, I love that.
Because exposure to those diverse career paths, especially for kids who might not have those role models around.
All right, they don't see it.
Exactly. It could really open up their world.
And it's not just about the career advice, right? It's about that relationship building, expanding their horizons.
It's showing them that their dreams are achievable.
Yeah. And the mentors get something out of it too.
Right. A deeper understanding of the challenges, maybe they get inspired to get more involved.
Totally. It's that win-win. What if they even worked in some entrepreneurship?
Oh, interesting.
Teaching them to identify problems, come up with solutions.
Like a real-world incubator for social change?
Exactly. So they could work on projects that benefit their own communities.
Gaining skills, ND making a difference.
And maybe some of those projects could even become businesses.
Right, boost the local economy.
It's not just fixing what's there, it's giving them the tools to create something new.
That's what's so exciting about Tovanot Bekkenuk. They get that. They're on the right track, but there's always room to grow.
Always. And maybe our listeners will be inspired too.
I hope so.
Maybe they'll volunteer or mentor or donate to organizations like this.
It all starts with awareness.
Right. Understanding the problem is the first step.
And then taking action. Even small things can make a difference.
So, to wrap up our deep dive on Tovanot Bekkenuk, we want to leave you with this.
Right.
Education isn't just about knowledge. It's about potential.
Empowering individuals to be critical thinkers, to solve problems, to make a positive impact.
Building a future where every child, no matter their background, has the opportunity to thrive.
To reach their full potential.
And that's something worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.